Here are your Days of Our Lives spoilers for Wednesday, August 13th, 2025. After his latest hypnosis session with Marlena, EJ is sure he has the silver bullet that will get Johnny acquitted. He remembers his shooter being a woman, so there is no way Johnny can be the culprit. EJ knows he cannot testify to this himself since he is the defense attorney, but Marlena could testify and tell the jury what he said while under hypnosis. To that end, EJ subpoenas his former mother-in-law, which does not sit well with Belle at all. Is EJ playing with fire here? Is he about to implicate another innocent person just to make sure his son doesn't go to prison? Could he anger Johnny by bringing Chanel into the mix? What if EJ is even remembering wrong and someone else stands trial for a crime they didn't commit? Something tells us that when we do learn who shot EJ, all of the people involved in this case will be shocked. It seems Felicity's case of strep throat really is contagious. Kat caught it, but Chad took care of her. Now, it's Kat's turn to take care of Chad. He also comes down with strep, but at least he started antibiotics early, so the worst of it shouldn't last long. However, Kat enjoys playing nurse to Chad after he did so much for her. Will Chad also end up somewhat delirious and pull Kat in for a kiss before muttering some confusing words? Or will the tables not be completely turned? After their time in the elevator, and now this, Kat and Chad are growing closer than ever. Little does Chad know that Kat is working with Rafe for the ISA and still keeping secrets. That could ruin any potential future they might have if Chad is not as forgiving this time. It's only a matter of time until he finds out. Here's your Days of Our Lives recap for Tuesday, August 12th, 2025. When Rachel took the stand, Amy made an observation about Tesoro, and EJ made a startling discovery. In the Hernandez kitchen, Leo told Javi that he was enjoying the trial, but he wished he were covering it. Javi opened a letter that had been dropped off at the firehouse for Tesoro by his mother. My decision to give you up came from my love for you, and wanting you to have the best life possible. Still letting you go is the hardest thing I've ever done, the letter read. Leo noted that there was no reason given for why the mother had given up her son. I wonder if Tesoro's mom saw the picture in the paper of me holding him, Javi said. Probably. I hope she takes comfort in knowing that he's being very well taken care of until he has a permanent home, Leo said. With a grin, Leo noted that Javi was a natural father. At the cafe in the town square, Sophia talked to Melinda on the phone. In Chicago, Melinda confirmed that Tate had sent a package to the adoptive parents. Sophia argued that even if Melinda wrote back to Tate, she did not think he would stop reaching out to the parents. Sophia, Amy said as she walked up to her daughter's table. Sophia ended her call as Amy joined her for breakfast. When Amy questioned Sophia about the call, Sophia lied and said she had been talking to Ari. I'm just wondering if you're telling the truth, Amy said. Amy noted that she and Sophia had not been close since before Sophia's pregnancy. Let's work on rebuilding our relationship, Amy said. I'd like that. But it's just that I'm not a little girl anymore, Sophia said. Sophia explained that she was worried that Amy would not understand Sophia's life experiences and decisions. Amy asked Sophia to give her a chance and talk to her. When Sophia declined, Amy urged Sophia to talk to their pastor or a therapist to deal with her trauma instead. When Amy suggested that Sophia go back to Sarah for a checkup, Sophia refused. I don't have postpartum depression, okay? Sophia yelled. Amy leaned forward to check Sophia's forehead, but Sophia stressed that she was an adult. I'm totally fine, Sophia said. Javi was walking by with Tesoro, and he stopped to say hello. Looks like you had your baby, Javi said. Sophia said yes. Who's your friend? Amy asked. Javi introduced himself. Amy started to ask about the baby, but then realized that it was Tesoro. You know him? Javi said. Amy explained that she had a special bond with Tesoro. The blood drained from Sophia's face. What are you talking about? Sophia asked. Amy explained that she had spent time with Tesoro during jury selection. How do you know Tesoro's foster dad? Amy asked. He's my boyfriend, Javi said. Amy forced a smile, and she noted that Tesoro had 2 foster dads. Actually, he has 3, Javi said. Amy's smile faltered. Then she forced a smile again and said, "How progressive." Javi noted that it was not so much progressive as it was amazing that Tesoro had a house full of people that loved him. Sophia encouraged Amy to place an order for breakfast. As Amy got up, she noted that Tesoro looked a lot like Sophia's brother. "Let's go," Sophia said, as she ushered Amy away from the table. Javi waved goodbye, but his smile disappeared after the women walked away. At the penthouse, Belle hurried to leave for court before EJ arrived for his session with Marlena. EJ knocked on the front door, and Belle groaned. Belle walked past EJ. "I was hoping your daughter might be more willing to forgive me after she had time to cool off," EJ said. "Why in the world would she ever want to forgive you after what you did to her in court?" Marlena said. Marlena told EJ that she was elated that Belle was done with EJ. Marlena stressed that she was only helping EJ in order to help Johnny. "I want you to do whatever it takes to get me past my mental block, no matter how hard you have to push," EJ said. Marlena agreed. "I just hope you're able to handle the truth," Marlena countered. EJ said he would do anything to protect his son. Under hypnosis, EJ said he could not see the shooter. Marlena asked EJ how he felt about the person. "I'm not sure. I just want her to put the gun down," EJ said. Marlena pushed EJ for details about the woman. Frustrated, EJ gritted his teeth and he yelled, "Why can't I remember?" When Marlena brought EJ out from under the hypnosis, EJ confirmed that he had remembered that the shooter was a woman. "Which means it couldn't have been Johnny," EJ said. "Will this hold up in court?" Marlena asked. EJ admitted that his lack of recall on the actual suspect was not ideal, but that his testimony could be used to eliminate Johnny as a suspect. EJ recounted that the 4 women that had been at the house on the night of the shooting had been Ava, Gabby, Chanel, and Kristen. Kristen met up with Brady at the pub while Rachel was in the kitchen. "How's Rachel holding up?" Kristen asked. "She's nervous about testifying today," Brady said. Brady told Kristen that Belle would be gentle with Rachel. "Right, like she was with Johnny?" Kristen countered. Brady noted that Belle was not the problem. "Let's hope EJ, for once, is a decent human being," Brady said. Rachel joined her parents, and she worried aloud that she would be responsible for Johnny's conviction. Brady reminded Rachel that there were multiple witnesses, so Rachel would not be responsible for the outcome of the trial. "All you have to do is tell the truth about what you saw and heard that night," Kristen added. Rachel worried aloud that what she witnessed would convince the jury that Johnny was guilty. Kristen noted that there were other suspects in the case. "Are you one of them, Mommy?" Rachel asked. Brady reminded Rachel that the police had questioned Kristen and let her go. "I was with you upstairs at the time of the shooting. I was watching you sleep," Kristen said. "But then I woke up and went downstairs," Rachel noted. Kristen promised Rachel that she had not shot EJ. At the courthouse, Johnny stood in the empty courtroom and thought about when Belle had questioned him on the stand. When Belle arrived, she saw Johnny and started to leave. Johnny apologized for having embarrassed Belle in court. Belle stressed that she only blamed EJ for what happened. "I also know EJ loves you, so I have to ask if there is any way you could ever forgive him," Johnny said. Belle told Johnny that she appreciated his love for his father, but that EJ had crossed a line. "But he did it for me, and I feel terrible," Johnny said. "We didn't break up because of what your father did. We broke up because of who your father is," Belle explained. Johnny said he understood. When Kristen, Brady, and Rachel arrived at the courthouse, Kristen said goodbye to her daughter in the hallway. "Since I have to testify, I'm not allowed in the courtroom for your testimony," Kristen said. Brady told Rachel to look to him in the courtroom for support while she testified. Belle assured Brady that she would go easy on Rachel. "I'm not worried about you. I'm worried about EJ," Brady said. Belle told Brady that she did not believe that EJ would be hard on Rachel, but if he did, she and the judge would intervene. Brady asked Belle if she was okay. "Honestly, I've never hated my job more than I do today," Belle confessed. The bailiff called its court to order, and Judge Dabney addressed the jury about the testimony regarding the personal lives of the attorneys. "The information should not be considered when deciding your verdict," Judge Dabney said. The judge announced that she was sequestering the jury because there had been too many leaks to the press. Leo objected, but quickly retracted his vocal outburst. When Rachel took the stand, Dabney gently told her that she needed to answer the questions truthfully. Rachel said she understood. Belle asked Rachel about the night of the shooting. Rachel testified that she had heard an argument in the living room, and she had seen Johnny pointing a gun at EJ. "Do you remember what they said?" Belle asked. Johnny said, "It's what you deserve." And then Uncle EJ said, "Please, you don't want to do this. Put down that gun," Rachel testified. Rachel said she had returned upstairs. "Is that all you remember?" Belle asked. Rachel said she had heard a gunshot. "Did you see anyone else there?" Belle asked. Rachel said no. "I got back in bed and pretended to be asleep," Rachel said. Belle asked how much time had lapsed between when Rachel had seen the argument and when she had heard the gunshot. "I don't know," Rachel whispered. Belle asked Rachel if she believed that Johnny had shot EJ. EJ objected, and Belle retracted her question. Belle told Rachel that she had been brave. EJ asked Rachel if she had seen Johnny fire the gun. Rachel said no. Rachel reconfirmed that she did not know how much time had passed between the argument and the gunfire. "Was there enough time for Johnny to leave the house and someone else come into the house and shoot me?" EJ asked. After a moment, Rachel said yes. EJ looked at the jury and said, "That's all I needed to know." Welcome to the Days of Our Lives Daily YAPP. For a quick, and by that I mean you're already halfway done, recap of the most amazing or what the heck did we just watch moments on today's episode. Let's get to it. Last week, we lamented that Days of Our Lives wasn't using its jury to its full potential. The show made such a big deal about Leo being called for jury duty and ending up on Johnny's jury, only to have him missing from the action during the first full week of testimony. What fun is that? Well, no fun at all, it turned out. However, now Days is letting the good times roll. Leo was an integral part of the proceedings, entertaining us with his facial expressions and his objection. That's right. Leo took the part of attorney as soon as the judge ordered the jury to be sequestered, because there had been leaks to the press and on social media. As soon as Leo heard he could not have access to his phone and barely any time with his loved ones, he strongly objected, but sat right down as soon as the judge shot him a look. The juror next to Leo also didn't look very thrilled, as he and Leo both rolled their eyes. Days is set to show us scenes from Leo's sequestration later this week. We are sure it will be a laugh riot, as the other jurors have to put up with Leo, and Leo has to put up with being away from Javi and Tesoro for way too long. Want more details? We got you! Soap Central has the best full DOOL recaps on the internet. You can even go back over 30 years and read each and every one of them. If you can't wait until the next episode, we have daily spoilers too. And whatever you do this weekend, do not, seriously, do not forget to read the 2 scoops for some laughs in the as close as we can come to being a watching party without actually being a show. And the best part is, if you agree or disagree, we want to know. As always, share your comments below. On Days of Our Lives today, Monday, August 11th, 2025, a fight nearly erupts at the bistro. Belle lashes out at EJ, and Chad takes care of Kat. At Kat's apartment, Chad applied a cold compress to Kat's head. Distressed, she called out in her sleep. As Chad tried to comfort her, she suddenly kissed him. Almost immediately, Kat stopped the kiss and lamented how much she had already hurt Chad. She couldn't hurt him again. Chad promised her he would be fine, since his immune system was strong as an ox due to the kids. Kat continued saying she was sorry and eventually fell back asleep. Later, Chad got off the phone with Kayla, who had told him she would be sending antibiotics for both Kat and Chad. Kat tried to get up to check on Felicity, but Chad assured her that Felicity's own medication was doing the trick. His priority was watching over Kat, which he did as she bundled herself in her blankets. Later, Chad called Julie and filled her in on his exposure to a nasty virus. He informed her that he'd need to be on antibiotics for 24 hours before he could return home. After the call, he went back to tending Kat. After Chad gave Kat her medication, She roused and thanked him for staying overnight. When Kat anxiously asked if she had kissed him, Chad lied and said it must have been a dream. At Marlena's place, Belle ranted about EJ as she came through the door with Marlena. Belle remembered how everyone had tried to warn her, but Marlena attributed Belle's previous defense of EJ to her love for him. "The only thing I feel now for that man is hate," Belle pledged. She was thankful that at least Sammy was no longer around to rub EJ's betrayal in her face. Marlena defended Sammy and said to Belle that her sister would know better than anyone Belle's feelings about EJ. Belle wasn't so sure, but thanked Marlena for being a support system during the ordeal. Marlena took comfort in Belle apparently having moved on from EJ, and she mentioned her scheduled hypnosis session with EJ the following day. Belle hoped EJ could finally remember something useful, so at least the family could put the stress of the trial behind them. The moment lightened when Belle made a joke about Marlena hypnotizing EJ to walk into traffic. Marlena affirmed she was only helping EJ to help Johnny. Marlena invited Belle for an evening walk, but Belle declined, claiming she had notes to go over for the trial. After Marlena left, however, Belle soon made her own exit. At the Dimera mansion, EJ made a beeline for the drink bar. He thought back to Belle dumping him and slammed his fist on the bar. Just then, Gwen entered the room and asked EJ, "What the hell is the matter with you?" EJ winced in pain and would only say that he'd done several very stupid things. Gwen offered to get him aspirin, but he insisted no medicine could dull the pain he felt. Later, Gwen returned to the room and announced her aspirin search had come up empty, as all she had managed to find was a bag marked "Property of Dr. Rolfe." EJ mused that Stefano had believed in embracing the pain, especially given the family was usually the source of headaches. Gwen made a crack about being universally hated in town and left the mansion to fetch some medication. EJ was surprised when Belle paid him an unexpected visit. She assured him that she still hated him, but she needed to set a few things straight. Belle caught EJ off guard with her revelation about the threats to her job coming from the Attorney General. He attempted to say he wouldn't have disclosed their affair in court if he had known, but Belle angrily cut him off and compared him to Stefano. Just like EJ's father had used Belle's father as his pawn, EJ had used Belle in the same way because he hated losing. Belle harshly added that EJ was worse than Stefano. At least Stefano had owned his bad nature. EJ affirmed that he loved Belle with all his heart. Belle found the words empty. They proved her point that EJ used meaningless declarations and promises in order to get what he wanted. Belle emphatically told him she was done, and if he tried to sabotage her career again, she would report him to the Bar Association. She stormed out the door, leaving a devastated EJ behind. At the bistro, Brady tried to talk Xander down from his enraged state. As Gabby attempted to pull Xander away, an angry Sarah rose and let Xander know that Victoria was home asleep, that Xander was in no state to take care of her, and that, like Xander, she could do whatever the hell she wanted. With the last assertion, Sarah pulled Brady into a kiss. After the kiss ended, Xander took a drunken swing at Brady, but Brady blocked the attack. Later, Brady and Sarah returned to their table. Brady called Xander a menace and remarked that if Gabby hadn't gotten Xander out of there, he would have given his uncle the fight Xander had been seeking. Sarah apologized for provoking Xander, especially when she knew that Xander had attacked Brady with a baseball bat. She also apologized for using Brady to make Xander jealous. Brady said the kiss had obviously been successful in that regard. Sarah noted with embarrassment that everyone in the restaurant seemed to be staring at them. Brady suggested they go elsewhere for dinner, but Sarah asked for a rain check instead. "And I won't surprise kiss you next time," she added, which elicited a smile from Brady. Outside the bistro, Gabby dressed down Xander for causing a scene that would reflect badly on the company and that could potentially endanger his custody agreement. She ordered him to get himself together while she went back inside and paid their bill. Later, Gabby returned and updated Xander on their banned status at the bistro. Xander saw Sarah and Brady leaving and approached them, despite Gabby's protests. Xander apologized to Brady for the attack and expressed hope they could move past it. Brady refused and announced he was tired of Xander's chaos and crap, which neither he nor Sarah deserved. Xander started to apologize to Sarah, but she stopped him and asked for a moment alone with him. Brady told Sarah to call if she needed anything and left, as did Gabby. Before Xander could speak, Sarah said she was over his excuses and apologies. He either started anger management therapy with Marlena immediately, or the next time he would see Victoria would be at the girls' wedding. Xander promised he would call and make the appointment, and Sarah was upset when she learned that he hadn't contacted Marlena yet. An approaching Marlena heard her name and asked what she could do for them. Xander said both Sarah and he agreed that he needed Marlena's help. Marlena suggested they get a cup of coffee in the bistro and talk over Xander's request. He sheepishly admitted he had been barred from the establishment. Marlena then invited Xander for coffee at her hospital office, where they could talk. Xander accepted the invitation and thanked Marlena. As the duo left, Sarah mouthed a silent "thank you" to Marlena. Sarah's bad day only got worse when Gwen strolled up to her and immediately snarked about Sarah's marriage being in the rubbish heap. Sarah tried to act unfazed and declared herself well rid of Xander, until Gwen breezily stated that Xander had moved on already, with her. Sarah wasn't buying Gwen's claims. She didn't believe Xander would be that desperate, and she'd just seen Xander kissing someone else. Gwen was thrown for a moment, but her smirk returned. She suggested that Sarah ask Maddie, aka Leo, about having seen Gwen and Xander enter the Salem Inn together. Gwen needled Sarah further by implying that Xander and she had easily picked up where they had left off. Satisfied that her job was done, Gwen sauntered away. Outside the Brady pub, Gabby gave her own apology to Brady. He blamed the public spectacle on Xander, but was curious as to why Gabby had kissed his uncle. Gabby blew it off as an impulse and invited Brady to dinner inside. Their talk turned to the tensions at Titan Demera. Brady wished he had gotten Basic Black out from under Titan control while he had the chance, and Gabby expressed the same wish for Gabby Chic. Brady cautioned Gabby to steer clear of Xander and his hostility. When they sat down for their meal, Brady opened up to Gabby about the pressure he felt to protect Basic Black, which was John's legacy. Brady also believed he should do a better job of filling the enormous gap John's absence had left in Salem, but his many failures were preventing him from following in John's footsteps. Gabby acknowledged John's larger-than-life heroic persona, but she saw many of his father's traits in Brady: generosity, kindness, and loyalty to family. Brady expressed frustration at the helplessness he felt to change things. Gabby coyly suggested that he stay patient, because change might be coming sooner than Brady thought. At the hospital, Marlena invited Xander to take a seat in her office and offered him coffee. She wanted to begin their talk by addressing Xander's seeming resistance to therapy. Xander confessed that his reluctance was driven largely by his fear. He was afraid of the deep anger inside and how it seemed to control him at times. He wondered why Marlena wanted to help him after what he had done to her. Marlena reminded Xander that she had treated many people over the years who had done harm to her family. She considered it her job to stay professional. Xander deemed himself Marlena's most hopeless case yet. Marlena didn't believe it was a lost cause, provided Xander was willing to put in the work and to be open and vulnerable. She challenged him on whether he was ready to meet those terms. "Yes, I am," Xander responded with seeming sincerity. Days of Our Lives. Spoilers for Tuesday, August 12th hint at some bombshells on the horizon in Salem. Two exes land on the same page, while there's potential for a shocking reveal during a therapy session, and two characters experience their fair share of courtroom drama. What's set to go down on Tuesday? Time to find out. Days of Our Lives spoilers for Tuesday, August 12th suggest that Brady Black and Kristen Demera will come together. This is all thanks to worry over Rachel Black. The little girl hasn't quite been herself lately, and having to go on the stand in Johnny Demera's trial, plus what she claims she saw the night of E.J. Demera's death, has been a source of stress. Will they be able to help calm their daughter down, together? Speaking of E.J., he'll have another therapy session with Marlena Evans. With that said, will she hypnotize him again? Can Marlena and E.J. get to the bottom of who shot him? Across town, there will be more mother-daughter conflict, as Amy Choi suggests something to Sophia Choi. Is this about the baby and the adoption she claims took place in Chicago? Fans will have to tune in to find out. Finally, Days of Our Lives spoilers for Tuesday imply that Johnny and his Aunt Belle Black will share how his case and the courtroom drama have impacted their lives. Belle has officially dumped EJ in light of his exposing their romance in the middle of the case, while Johnny struggles with stress over what the verdict will be. Johnny also feels terrible about being the person to expose EJ and Belle's romance. However, he shouldn't feel bad, as EJ asked him while he was on the stand and he was under oath. Will talking things through with Belle help repair any issues between Johnny and his aunt? Days of Our Lives. Spoilers reveal that Brady Black and Kristen DiMera will find themselves drawn together over Rachel Black. Rachel has been summoned to court to testify against Johnny DiMera. Rachel has been having trouble for months, and her parents don't know how to help her. Will they reunite for Rachel's sake? According to a leak months ago, Rachel is the one who shot EJ DiMera. Rachel only remembers seeing Johnny hold a gun on EJ. Neither EJ or Rachel remember what happened next. Spoilers suggest that EJ will turn to Marlena Evans once again. Will EJ remember who shot him, thanks to Marlena's help? Marlena has her own opinion of who shot EJ. Unfortunately, Marlena cannot share her opinion with Belle Black, who happens to be the DA. Marlena has talked to Rachel several times, and her instinct tell her that Rachel is blocking something. Has Marlene put the pieces together and realized that her granddaughter is the guilty party? Brady has kept Rachel with him at Marlena's for some time now. Rachel seems so much better at the penthouse than she does at the DiMera mansion. Rachel can only see Johnny holding that gun on EJ and nothing more. Does Rachel need to be at the mansion to see if her memory comes back? Will Rachel remember what happened while working with Marlena? It seems that EJ may remember while Marlena agrees to keep working with him. Can Marlena finally get out of EJ who shot him? Will EJ finally remember what happened the night he was shot? Could that fact that Rachel may be the shooter pull Brady and Kristen closer together as they struggle to understand how their daughter could shoot anyone? Rachel will take the stand this week. The truth could erupt in court. Imagine if EJ were to question Rachel and suddenly remember that she is the one who shot him. Perhaps EJ will get his memory back at the last minute. However, EJ could use Rachel to cause reasonable doubt. Will EJ push Rachel into confessing, or will she scream out in court that she did it? However the truth comes out, it seems that Rachel had something to do with it, and her parents will certainly not consider that possibility. How does this truth finally come out? Will Rachel blurt it out in court, pulling her parents closer to protect her? Will EJ remember first and force Rachel to say it out loud in open court? How will the writers finally reveal that answers to the who shot EJ mystery?